All right, today we are diving deep into the shadows of a seriously chilling urban legend, straight from the heart of Mumbai. It's a story about a haunted college, a dare that went, well, horribly wrong, and a ghost that's apparently still teaching a lesson in pure terror. We're going to unpack the whole story, the supposed eyewitness accounts, and figure out what makes this tale so spooky and why it just refuses to go away.
So this is the whisper. This is the sentence that gets passed around between students at a popular girls' college in the city. It's the foundation for a truly frightening local legend. You know the kind of story, right? It's told in hushed tones, the one that everybody knows, but nobody really wants to be the one to investigate.
Okay, so to really get the haunting, you first have to understand the place itself. Because this story isn't just about a ghost. It's about a location that's literally caught between two different worlds.
The setting alone tells you half the story. On one side, you've got the busy, modern life of SNDT college. You know, classes, students, the whole deal. And then, sitting right next to it, is this decaying relic of the past, an old building totally abandoned. And it's from this forgotten, crumbling structure that the legend crawls out. Now, this is the core of the whole thing. It's not just some random haunting, some bumps in the night. It's specific. A woman's voice, echoing from a place where no one is supposed to be. It just creates this atmosphere of mystery and dread that kind of hangs over the whole campus. You know, every great ghost story needs a skeptic, doesn't it? Someone who says no way. So let's meet the young guy who decided to put this whole legend to the test, and the dare that kicked this entire terrifying night into motion. And here we have the classic setup, right? You've got Rohan, a guy who does not believe in ghosts. He hears the story and pretty much laughs it off. So, naturally, his friend dares him. It's a direct challenge to his disbelief. And Rohan, totally confident it's all just a silly rumor, agrees to go, and he even brings his friend Vishal along for what he thinks is going to be a boring night of proving everyone wrong.
So the stage is set. Two friends, armed with nothing more than flashlights and a whole lot of skepticism, step into a place they were told point blank to avoid. And almost immediately, the abandoned building starts to let its secrets out. They sneak in around 1:30 in the morning, and the atmosphere is exactly what you'd picture from a haunted house movie. Overgrown vines, cobwebs everywhere, and this heavy, oppressive silence. The kind of quiet where you can practically hear your own heartbeat. And in that silence, every little sound, like the groan of an old door, just feels huge. And then it happens. As they're creeping through these dark hallways, a voice just cuts through the silence, a woman's voice, and it's coming from a classroom that should be completely empty. And it is bizarre. It sounds like a teacher just reciting multiplication tables in the middle of the night. 2 times 1 is 2. The sound is perfectly clear, methodical, and just completely, utterly out of place. 2 times 2 is 4. Now, Rohan, he's still trying to be the brave skeptic, right? He immediately thinks it's a prank. But his friend Vishal is already terrified. I mean, the logical part of your brain is screaming that this can't be real, but the sound is undeniably there. So as they get closer to the classroom, the voice just stops. But in its place, they feel this wave of intense, unnatural cold just pouring out from under the door. It was described as feeling like standing in front of an open freezer. Okay, so the vibe just went from strange to actively hostile. And this, right here, is the moment their little dare just spirals completely out of control. It goes from a spooky exploration to what they describe as a direct confrontation with something, well, something not of this world. So once they're inside the room, things escalate fast. First, that calm voice comes back, but this time it is loud and it is angry. Then there's this sharp crack, like a slap, that echoes in the empty room. It's immediately followed by the sound of multiple children just sobbing. And then, caught in the beam of their flashlight, a piece of chalk lifts into the air and starts writing on the blackboard, all by itself. And the words that started appearing on that board, well, they weren't random. This was a message, and it revealed the entire motivation behind this whole haunting. That's it. That is the explanation, the threat, and the reason for everything, all in one chilling sentence. For Rohan and Vishal, this is the absolute final straw. They turn and they run for their lives. But hold on, the horror is not over. Rohan makes it outside, but then he realizes Vishal is missing.
He looks up and sees his friend trapped, banging on a first-floor window. So what does he do? He runs back in, and he finds Vishal on the classroom floor, like a robot just reciting multiplication tables to this figure in a black sari. And the description of this teacher? Rotting skin and white eyes. I mean, it is pure nightmare fuel.
So according to Rohan's account, this ghostly teacher turns its attention to him. It smiles this awful, terrifying smile and starts to move toward him. He bolts, but in his panic, he slips on the stairs, falls, and everything just goes black.
Rohan wakes up later, safe. But this is where the incident cements itself as a true urban legend, because what we get next are two different, conflicting accounts of how they escaped. Okay, so check this out, because this is the part that makes your brain do a little flip. Rohan says he went back to save the shawl, but Vishal says he's the one who escaped and saw Rohan trapped, which made him run to get help. So who was saving whom? This contradiction, this he said, is exactly what makes the story so powerful and so hard to just brush off. But here's the one thing both stories seem to line up on. As Vishal and his other friends carried the unconscious Rohan out of that building, they all allegedly heard the same sounds, that teacher reciting tables and the children crying. So now it's not just one person's story anymore, it's a shared experience.
So what about the aftermath? I mean, after a night of pure terror like that, what happens next? And how is this story still living and breathing today?
I mean, this incident? It ticks all the boxes for a classic urban legend. You've got a real place, a terrifying story, first-hand accounts that are both really compelling and a little bit contradictory, and just enough unexplained detail to keep people guessing forever.
And that's where things stand. The college is still running, a place of learning during the day. But by night, this story has become a permanent part of its identity. It's a cautionary tale passed down from one class to the next, a warning that the spirit of that teacher is still there and she's still waiting.
And really, that's the ultimate question that every good ghost story leaves you with, isn't it? It forces you to think about your own beliefs and your own fears. It's one thing to be a skeptic from a safe distance, but when you're actually faced with that decaying old door in the middle of the night, what would you do?